I made my first million. First year I was in the band. We paid the price for all the success.
After years of searching and nearly facing downfall, Journey found an extraordinary new lead singer from the Philippines. Faced with the pressure of either becoming history or throwing this new rookie on stage, Journey took a huge decision that altered their story forever. Join us as we uncover the fascinating story behind Journey's game-changing decision and the huge impact. In the 1970s, a collection of skilled artists in San Francisco united to create a music group that would quickly make a big impact on the rock scene. Journey was established in 1973 by ex-Santana guitarist Neal Schon and keyboardist Greg Rowley. Initially, the band was focused on jazz fusion music, but eventually figured out that they needed a more powerful rock sound. They faced challenges in finding their unique style, producing records that highlighted their musical skills, but did not have the spark to attract a wider audience. In 1977, the course of events shifted when Journey decided to give a chance to a talented young singer named Steve Perry, who had been facing difficulties breaking into the music industry while working with smaller bands. Perry's big break came when he was noticed by Journey's manager, Herbie Herbert, who recognized his exceptional voice. Neal Schon, along with the other members of the band, immediately realized that they had found someone remarkable when they heard Perry sing. In the same year, Perry became a part of Journey, bringing an instant change with his powerful vocals and heartfelt performance. Perry's addition had a profound effect on the band's music, shifting it towards a more melodious rock genre that quickly gained popularity on the airwaves. In 1978, Journey launched their groundbreaking album, Infinity, which featured Steve Perry for the first time. This release marked a significant shift in the band's sound. Tracks, such as Lights and Wheel in the Sky, showcased Perry's impressive vocals, earning praise from listeners. The album quickly achieved platinum status, signaling an exciting new chapter for Journey. In the following years, Journey released a series of successful albums that solidified their position in the history of rock music. Evolution, 1979, and Departure, 1980, maintained their popularity, generating hits such as Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin', and Any Way You Want It. However, it was their album, Escape, in 1981, that propelled them to legendary status. Escape included the famous track Don't Stop Believin', which later became an iconic rock anthem. The album also contained hits like Open Arms, Who's Crying Now, and Stone in Love. This album marked Journey's first time reaching the top spot on the Billboard charts, propelling them to fame. Journey rose to fame in the 1980s with the enchanting vocals of Steve Perry. Their concerts were packed, their records went platinum multiple times, and their presence on MTV was unmistakable. Around the middle of the 1980s, conflicts began to arise among band members. Perry, who was facing personal challenges, struggled with the demands of touring and maintaining a successful career in music. Following the launch of Raised on Radio in 1986, Journey decided to take a break, and Perry decided to take some space from the group. During the 1990s, when the band tried to come back together, it was evident that there were some changes. Journey came out with their album Trial by Fire in 1996, marking Perry's return after 10 years. Even though the album did well, Perry's decision not to go on tour caused tension within the group. Perry eventually departed from the band following a hip injury and his refusal to undergo surgery for touring purposes. Journey tried to continue on their journey without Perry, but it proved to be a difficult challenge. They brought in fresh vocalists like Steve Augeri and Jeff Scott Soto, but none were able to adequately replace Perry. The fan base was split, and the band's fame started to decline. The excitement that used to fill stadiums now felt subdued, and loyal fans were left unsatisfied. In the mid-2000s, Journey was finding it difficult to stay in the spotlight. Their music no longer resonated with audiences, and their live shows were not attracting the large crowds they used to. Critics questioned whether Journey could make a comeback. Neal Schon acknowledged the decline and stated in an interview that they had been presented with new band members, but he did not feel inspired by them. In 2007, Journey was confronted with a challenging decision: either evolve or risk being forgotten in the world of rock and roll. Little did they know that their rescue was brewing in a rundown bar in Manila, where they performed cover songs for a small crowd. Just when it seemed like Journey was on the brink of disappearing, they found themselves about to embark on an unforeseen journey. Neal Schon, in their darkest moment, sought inspiration from an unexpected place, setting the stage for a life-altering transformation. Before we explore how the band discovered their new lead singer, let's take a look at who he is and what qualities they saw in him that led them to offer him such an important role, despite not being a superstar. Arnel Pineda came into the world on September 5, 1967, in the bustling city of Tondo, Manila. His parents, Restituto Lizing Pineda and Josefina Manansala Campaner, could not have predicted the global rock star their son would eventually become. Growing up, his mother instilled in him a love of music by playing tunes from artists like Karen Carpenter and Barbra Streisand. She fostered his singing talents, which ultimately became his biggest strength. From a young age, he thrived in various vocal competitions, each one playing a part in steering him toward a remarkable destiny. A crisis occurred when his mother became sick with heart problems. The family's finances dwindled rapidly, and when she died, when Arnel was only 13, they were overwhelmed by debt. Due to his father's inability to afford rent, he had to split up the children, with Arnel's siblings going to stay with other family members. Recognizing the struggle his father was facing, Arnel made a difficult choice to stop attending school and enter the tough world of trying to make a living. Arnel roamed the streets aimlessly for close to 2 years, without a place to call his own, resorting to sleeping on public benches and the doorsteps of acquaintances who could not provide him with a proper bed. He scrounged for odds and ends like glass bottles, newspapers, and bits of metal to barter for a few pesos. Occasionally, he found work at the dock, where he cleaned boats and carried scraps of metal. But even then, finding enough to eat was a challenge. He had to ration a small pack of Marie biscuits to last him for 2 days. Despite the persistent hunger and fatigue, his passion for music never wavered. Singing remained his sole escape, the one source of solace that fueled his optimism. His luck turned at the age of 15, when he became a member of a band named Eos and started performing at a Shakey's Pizza Parlor in Manila. Afterward, he became the main singer of a different band called Amo. In 1996, the group gained fame by winning the Rock Wars competition in the Philippines. Following that success, they participated in the Yamaha World Band Explosion and emerged victorious in the national level. Unfortunately, they were disqualified during the finals in Hong Kong due to a technicality. The song that helped them win, a rendition of Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, violated the rules that required original compositions. Despite feeling let down, Amo persisted in their performances and had the opportunity to be the opening act for Robert Palmer in 1989. The band established themselves as a regular feature in clubs throughout Luzon, with a particularly strong following in Olongapo City, where their shows were popular among American military personnel. In 1990, the band underwent a rebranding as Intensity 5 and decided to once again participate in the Yamaha World Band Explosion competition. This time, Arnel received recognition as the best vocalist, and the band was able to achieve the first runner-up position. Arnel experienced a roller coaster ride in the world of music. After the dissolution of Amo, he and some bandmates regrouped to create New Age. Their gigs at prestigious venues in Manila caught the attention of a talent scout, leading to a lucrative contract in Hong Kong. Arnel dedicated himself to performing at Grammys 6 nights a week for an extended period. Even as he achieved more success, challenges persisted in his life. A heartbreaking split in 1994 left him feeling completely broken inside. The resulting pressure had a negative impact on his physical well-being, and he nearly lost his ability to speak. He had no choice but to go back to the Philippines for 6 months to recuperate before he could sing again. Upon his return to Hong Kong, he successfully reintegrated himself into the music community there. In 1999, Warner Bros. Philippines noticed his talent and subsequently released his solo album, Arnel Pineda, which gained popularity in Asia with tracks like Iyak Ka Rin and Sayang. While focusing on his album, he also performed with New Age and later worked with different bands, performing at prestigious venues in Hong Kong such as the Hard Rock Cafe. In 2006, Filipino talent manager Bert De Leon persuaded Arnel to return to the Philippines. Arnel created a fresh band named The Zoo and secured a contract with Sundance Entertainment. Their live shows were energetic, lasting for hours, and their first album, Zoology, highlighted Arnel's talent for writing songs. Despite his skills and hard work, he started to question whether he would ever move beyond performing in small clubs. How were they able to discover this talent? Was it purely his skill that earned him the role, or was there something more to it? In 2007, a significant transformation occurred for both the band and Arnel. Late one night in 2007, Neal Schon found himself in front of his computer filled with frustration. The band journey, which he had played a major role in establishing as a rock force, was starting to lose its popularity. Ticket sales were dropping, and their search for a new lead singer had not been successful. They were faced with a decision: either revamp their image or be forgotten. Feeling desperate for a solution, Schon took an unconventional step. He decided to explore YouTube. He looked through numerous videos, hoping to find a vocalist who could capture the essence of Journey's music, but none seemed to have the right spark. Suddenly, he came across the Zoo's cover performances of classic rock songs on YouTube, grabbing the attention of Neal Schon, the renowned guitarist of Journey. Neal was in search of a new lead singer and was taken aback by Arnel's vocal abilities. His excitement escalated as he listened to Arnel sing faithfully, with impressive accuracy and emotion, reminiscent of Steve Perry. It felt like Steve Perry himself had made a comeback, but that seemed impossible. Schon watched video after video, each one as mesmerizing as the previous one. When he was later interviewed, he recalled feeling surprised, saying that he couldn't believe it and that he had watched 40 videos in which he was singing all their songs flawlessly in English. Enthusiastically, he contacted his fellow band members, only to be met with less enthusiastic responses. Jonathan Cain, the keyboardist for Journey, raised doubts, questioning whether he understood English, had performed on large stages like theirs, and whether they could introduce someone like him into the mix. They deliberated extensively. Deciding to take a leap of faith on a singer from a distant location was seen as a gamble. However, Schon had a strong gut feeling that this was the solution they were looking for. With unwavering determination, he managed to locate Noel Gomez, the individual responsible for uploading Pinita's videos. After obtaining Arnel's email address, he promptly sent a message, introducing himself and extending an invitation for Pinita to audition. Meanwhile, all the way in Manila, Arnel Pinita was facing financial challenges. Upon receiving the email, he initially found it amusing, thinking it was a prank. He later confessed that he couldn't help but laugh when his friend had shared it with him. The idea seemed too far-fetched. Why would Journey, a renowned American rock band, have an interest in a singer from a cover band in the Philippines? However, when he finally accepted the reality, he also felt the weight of expectation. It was a rare chance that may not come again. Nevertheless, he couldn't shake off his hesitations. Did he possess the necessary skills? Would he be able to meet the high hopes of countless supporters? Memories of his difficult past, filled with setbacks, challenges, and money problems, overshadowed his enthusiasm. Yet, buoyed by the support of loved ones, he made the decision to go ahead. Accompanied by his manager, Bert De Leon, Arnel took a flight to San Francisco with no knowledge of the life-changing opportunity that awaited him. This was his chance to transform his life indefinitely. However, along with this new fame and recognition came its set of challenges. Do you think he'll be able to rise above them? Keep watching to find out more. Arnel Pineda was taken aback by his sudden arrival in the United States. The dazzling roads of San Francisco were a far cry from the bustling lanes of Manila. Upon meeting the members of Journey, he felt a swirl of nerves and anticipation. While he understood this was his golden opportunity, the obstacles in his path seemed insurmountable. Adapting to life in America was challenging for Arnel. Despite being proficient in English, he found it difficult to understand the fast-paced slang and humor in his new surroundings. Even basic things like placing orders for food became intimidating for him. As he longed for the familiar comforts of his home, he started feeling lonely. Arnel confessed to experiencing homesickness frequently and noticed a stark difference between the cold reality of hotel rooms and rehearsal spaces and the warmth of his loved ones. The members of Journey were unsure about their decision. Neal Schon, the guitarist, had doubts about whether they could easily introduce Arnel to the world of rock and expect him to succeed. Arnel faced overwhelming pressure. He had to demonstrate his skills as a singer while also adjusting to a completely different lifestyle. As word of his selection became widespread, doubt inundated various social platforms. Followers and detractors alike had doubts about how a newcomer from Manila could step into Steve Perry's shoes. Every critical remark eroded Arnel's self-assurance. the burden of Journey's history weighed heavily on him. Jonathan Cain, the group's keyboardist, admitted that they were in for a tough challenge. He had mentioned that certain fans would never be satisfied unless the original members were present. Arnel started to realize the sheer magnitude of the challenge ahead as he geared up for his debut performance. Uncertainty began to seep in like a dense mist. In retrospect, he remembered feeling overwhelming fear. His hands grew cold and unresponsive, while his breaths became quick and shallow. The glamorous vision of becoming a rock star now seemed to be turning into a haunting nightmare. He questioned whether he could prove his critics wrong and win the hearts of Journey's loyal followers. When he made his debut on stage, the future of his career and Journey's fate appeared uncertain. The risks were greater than ever before. The success of Journey relied heavily on the vocals of a man who recently performed at intimate venues in Manila. As he neared the mic at the Viña del Mar International Song Festival in Chile, anxiety took hold of him. It seemed as if he was on the brink of a new, uncharted territory. On February 21, 2008, Arnel found himself facing a sea of 20,000 expectant faces, feeling overwhelmed by the pressure. He confessed afterwards that he had been filled with fear. His hands trembled and his breathing grew shallow. When Journey began performing separate ways, worlds apart, his vocals soared, dispelling any doubts. The previously skeptical audience was now amazed by his performance. Jonathan Cain witnessed the crowd erupting in excitement for their fresh lead singer. Arnel continued to face challenges even after the first hurdles. The rigorous performance requirements of the show were particularly tough for someone accustomed to smaller venues. His fellow band members were concerned about his ability to maintain his voice and encouraged him to pace himself. The shadow of Steve Perry's iconic status weighed heavily on him, serving as a constant reminder of the daunting task ahead. Even with these obstacles, Arnel delivered an electrifying performance. The drummer of Journey, Dean Castronovo, was amazed by Arnel's dynamic presence on stage, likening him to a combination of David Lee Roth and Bruce Lee. While the band played through their set list, Arnel's vocals reached new heights, revitalizing Journey's timeless songs. The live broadcast of the concert reached 25 million viewers in South America, creating immense pressure. Each song performed by Arnel was significant for Journey's legacy. The audience fell silent as the second encore ended, waiting for the decision. Despite challenges, Arnel managed to impress Journey's fans and quieted the critics. Jonathan Cain articulated his thoughts accurately when he praised Arnel as a talented performer who excelled under pressure. However, once the excitement faded, the harsh truth was revealed. A single impressive show was not sufficient to guarantee the longevity of Journey. The journey ahead was unpredictable, with numerous obstacles and risks to navigate. While the band planned their next step, they were still burdened by the pressure of high expectations. Even though they had a long journey ahead, Arnel Pineda had already begun solidifying his legacy in the world of rock music. What impact did Arnel have on the band? Did he help them regain their lost fame? And do you think he lived up to Steve Perry's legacy within the band? Upon the arrival of Arnel Pineda as the new lead singer of Journey, there was a tremendous amount of pressure. The band had already experienced success with him during live performances, but creating an album presented a whole new set of challenges. The fans held strong beliefs about the band's history, and the iconic voice of Steve Perry cast a large shadow. The question remained, would the loyal followers of Journey embrace Pineda, or would they reject him? The sense of ambiguity had a significant impact on all parties involved. Even with uncertainties looming over them, the band took the bold step of stepping into the studio to work on their album, Revelation, fully aware that it could shape their destiny. The atmosphere during the recording process was filled with tension as every sound, every word, and every note had to showcase Journey in a way that would resonate with their fans. Upon its official release on June 3, 2008, the album received a mixed reception. Critics were torn in their opinions, sparking intense debates among fans on various online platforms. While some lauded Pineda's impressive vocal abilities, others yearned for the nostalgic sound that they had grown accustomed to. However, there was a surprising turn of events. Journey's latest album entered the Billboard Top 200 chart at the impressive number 205 spot, achieving their best ranking since the era of Steve Perry in Trial by Fire. In a matter of days, more than 336,000 copies were purchased, resulting in Revelation receiving a gold certification. Just months later, on October 1, 2009, the album had reached platinum status. This unexpected triumph was a welcome relief for a band that had endured considerable doubt and uncertainty. Jonathan Cain reminisced about the experience, noting that the band's top hits were recorded with their new vocalist, Arnel Pineda, from the Philippines, and the result is amazing. Neal Schon also shared his enthusiasm, describing Pineda as a rejuvenating presence that has revitalized the group. The album had several distinguishing features. It was exclusively available at Walmart in the US and contained 10 new tracks, 12 revamped classics, and a live concert DVD from their March 8, 2008 performance in Las Vegas. The European release, which was handled by Frontiers Records, included an additional new song, but lacked a DVD. Kevin Shirley, a producer who had previously collaborated on Trial by Fire, oversaw the album production to ensure it maintained the band's distinctive sound. After Revelation showed that Journey still had a dedicated fan following, the band set off on a global tour. The journey started in Spain on June 8, 2008, with shows in Germany, the Netherlands, and the UK. The band performed in full arenas, demonstrating their lasting popularity. The US leg of the tour began on July 9, 2008, in Denver, Colorado, with Heart and Cheap Trick joining them on stage. The tour went on until October 4, 2008, ending in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Numerous concerts were sold out weeks before the actual show date. Pineda reached the age of 41 while on tour, marking his birthday on September 5, 2008, with a performance at Toronto's Molson Amphitheatre. Journey had a successful run with sold-out shows at the Greek Theatre in Los Angeles in September. By the conclusion of the year, they had entertained audiences with 57 shows across the globe. The band made an impressive $35.7 million in total concert earnings for 2008. Continuing their travels, Journey brought their tour to Asia and Hawaii, entertaining crowds in countries like Japan, China, and the Philippines. Pineda, who had humble beginnings in Manila before becoming the lead singer of a renowned band, cherished the opportunity to perform in his hometown for a live DVD release. Despite achieving considerable success, Pineda experienced ongoing stress and scrutiny. He found himself frequently being measured against Steve Perry, causing him to struggle with the high standards set by his predecessor. Though he poured his heart and soul into every show, the burden of meeting people's expectations weighed heavily on him. Jonathan Cain acknowledged Pineda's dedication, noting that he delivered passionate performances each night despite the immense pressure. Throughout the years, Pineda consistently challenged himself, although the obstacles occasionally had an impact on him. During the Rock in Rio Festival in 2023, he faced difficulties reaching the high notes in Don't Stop Believin', which resulted in negative feedback online. A recording of his performance gained widespread attention, causing Pineda to contemplate the idea of departing from the group. However, Journey continued to progress despite the challenges they faced. The endurance of their music was evident, as Arnel Pineda's journey from Manila's streets to leading a legendary American rock band continued to inspire. The risk taken by the band had resulted in success, showing that their music could still resonate with listeners after many years. The focus of Journey's legacy had shifted from their history to what lies ahead for them. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.